Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the GabNet Tour bus. Today our tour will take us up and around the newly designed GabNet.net webpage. For your safety, please stay seated while the bus is in motion and enjoy your trip. Also, remember that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated. Okay, we're off. The first place of interest that we're going to pass on the top left, you'll see a rotating billboard of all of the great GabNet programs. Legend has it that legendary broadcaster Alex Bennett created this billboard to attract early visitors to GabNet and to lure them into his site. To this day, it's one of the top attractions on our tour. Up next, look over at the top right and you'll see the most recent video of Alex Bennett's Ramble. And if you're lucky enough, we'll see Alex interacting with the citizen panel. Always a tour highlight. Did I mention that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated? As we approach the bottom of the Ramble video, we see quick links to all the ways that you can connect with GabNet programs. Facebook Live, YouTube, TuneIn, Livestream, Vimeo, and the GabNet Roku channel. They're all additional stops that you can make if you choose to step off the bus. But remember, please tip your tour guide if you do, and then you can hop on the next bus. Here's another highlight on our tour. On the left side, you'll see GabNet On Demand. You can quickly access any of the most recent programs there. Clearly, a value spot on our tour because downloads are at no extra cost. Please give your attention now to the right side. Look at the complete tutorial on how easy it is to become a citizen panelist. By the way, if you're a Luddite, there's a phone number that you can use to dial in. Okay, we're nearing the halfway point on our trip. I certainly hope that you're enjoying it. Oh look, there's the convenient call Skype button that you can click on, which will automatically connect you to the citizen panel. So now we're turning down the center of the page. I don't want you to miss any of these attractions, so please pay attention. Up first is a link to the 24/7 feed. Now these are going to come fast and furious, so pay attention. Next is a quick note on how you can hear GabNet on Amazon Echo. Next, quickly coming behind that, and this is always exciting, a screen that shows Alex Bennett's Ramble when it is live, with a countdown to the next show. It's always fun when we pass and the show is live. We're winding down our tour of GabNet.net, but before we reach our final stop, it's important to note that there is a place for you to contact them with your comments. Let them know how you like GabNet.net and the GabNet programming. And with that, we wrap up our tour. Remember, as you step off the bus, to please be careful. And also remember that GabNet is talk like you've never heard or seen it before. Did I mention, please tip your tour guide?
Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, how are ya? This is Alex Bennett and this is the Ramble. It goes from now until midnight Eastern Daylight Time, or Eastern Standard Time. You know, I just should say Eastern Time no matter what, and then, you know, the people will know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to do tonight, a lot of stuff to talk about a little bit later with our citizens panel. Tonight, we're going to start something special. A few weeks back, I managed to get our good friend, Jack Garfine, into the studio once again to sit down for another hour and a half worth of interviews, of which I will chop them up into 30-minute segments, and we'll play them over the next couple of nights. And, why don't we just get going, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, here is the beginning of our interviews with Jack Garfine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part 2 of our interview with Jack Garfine. Now, part 1 took place many, many months ago, but here he is back in our studio.
But there are 10 parts.
There are so many parts to your life, Jack, that it's amazing, that it is absolutely amazing, the different parts to your life, because your life, first we had the part, your young life where you were in concentration camps, 11 of them. And then now you come to the United States. How did you get to the United States from Europe? Did you?
Oh, how did I get?
Was it?
Well, it's quite a story.
Yeah.
Because, and I didn't understand some of it.
Yeah.
Until about 4 months ago.
Oh well, that's a little long in your life.
When they were doing a documentary.
Yeah.
Because what happened was that first, because my father was one of the founders of Zionism in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And he tried to warn the Jews to get out, and he also was in the underground getting the Polish Jews through Turkey to Palestine. Okay.
Yeah.
And my mother and he had later a terrible fight because she thought that he was thinking more about rescuing the Jews than his children and his family.
Yeah.
That he put all his energy in there.
Yeah.
And finally, what happened was I had a very happy childhood.
Right.
In the sense, well,
we kind of went through all that.
What?
We went through all that before. Yeah. What I want to get to is we ended up with you getting out of the camps. You wound up in, I think it was Sweden or Norway?
Yeah.
Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how did you get to the United States?
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So what happened was I had an uncle in the United States.
Yeah.
It's very funny, but
now, mind you, everybody, his family was wiped out in the camps, except for you. You were the sole survivor of your family, correct?
Of my immediate family.
Of your immediate family.
Yeah.
So you had an uncle in the United States.
Yeah, I had an uncle in the United States, and he what happened was I did a performance in Sweden. Did I tell you about that?
No.
So I was one of the youngest. There was another boy my age, a little younger, I think. And they were wanted to put on a kind of a show for the Swedish people and the Swedish and all the embassies.
Yeah.
Outdoors was a nice place. He set up a stage. And I auditioned. I went up and wanted to be in it.
Right.
And it was between me and the little boy.
Uh-huh.
And I got the part, which is the part of what's called a pupil who took care of the capo's house. He cleaned it, cleaned his shoes, and as a consequence, he didn't have to go out to work.
Was this your first acting part?
No. I had to act. My father would put on shows about Zionism and all that.
When you were a kid.
But I had big fights with him.
Yeah.
Because I remember the one time he kept trying to get me to be natural and easy, and I felt like I was an actor. And so I would say, and the clouds went over the trees and the wind came. And my father would say, please, just say the words simply.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay. He kept arguing with me. I thought, okay. So in the preparation, in the rehearsal, I would do it his way, and everything was fine.
Let's get to how you got to the United States. Your uncle brought you to the United States?
Yeah, but it's connected.
It's connected, okay.
Yeah. So what happened was that I did all that in the rehearsal, but then for the show, boy, I said, and the clouds went, and the twin came, and a big... And so, and my sister, who was in the show, she listened to my father. She was very simple. So after the show, they said, oh, Yankush, that was my name. Yankush, you're the real actor. My sister, she was just like here, just like a little girl. But you are really an actor.
Yeah.
And I got all my friends and all people made me the great actor. So during the show, what happened was that the guy who played the capo didn't do this.
This was in Sweden. This was the play in
Sweden.
Yeah,
it was for the Swedish people to see us. It was a kind of a pageant show, you know.
Yeah.
And so he didn't smoke during the rehearsals, you know.
Yeah.
And suddenly, during the show, he lights up a cigarette, and it smokes. And at one point, he threw the cigarette away. For a cigarette in a concentration camp, you could buy the Empire State Building, right? So with my right foot, I pushed the cigarette to my other shoe, covered it with a cloth, and then stuck it into the shoe, right? And suddenly, because when that happened, that became so real to me.
Yeah.
You know, that this is what I did. And what happened was, when I was leaving the exit, I got a big hand from the audience. So I thought, oh yeah, because I'm a kid, I went through the camps, that's why they're giving me a big hand. But when it came to the curtain calls, you know, everybody got me, woo, big hand. And I thought, well, again, because they're giving me a hand because I'm a kid, you know, and went through the camp.
Yeah. And
so the guy from the American embassy, not the ambassador, but the second in charge, came up to me and said to me, do you have any relatives in the United States? Well, you know, and where are they? So, you know, everybody had an uncle in the United States.
Right, exactly.
But I said, yes, I have an uncle in Chicago. I didn't want to say New York. Everybody said New York. But I said Chicago. So he said, okay, well, this man, who's, by the way, card I have somewhere, I kept it. He went and took an ad in the Herald Tribune that this boy who survived the camps is, you know, in Sweden in this town. And then a friend of my father's, one of his best friends.
What do you need?
Kleenex.
A little Kleenex? Here, let me give it. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. There you go.
Saw the ad.
Yeah.
And he went and got in touch with my uncle in New York and said, Yankush, that was my name, survived. And so my uncle, not the nicest of people, right? He made arrangements, supposedly, for me to come out to the United States.
Yeah. And
everybody envied me in the camp, the other kids who were there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to America, and you know, and so I sort of started also to have images of being, you know, in the United States, because I was definitely wanted to go to Palestine to fight for Israel, for a state. So, okay, they arranged for me to get on a boat, among the first five people to come to the United States. And because there was no passenger ship yet.
Right.
So this was a merchant ship, you know, and there were 5 of us. And I used to, go out and watch the waves and the sea, and then I found a book, a little notebook that I kept there, in which I wrote down my father's birthday, my mother's, my sister's. I kept thinking about them, you know.
Yeah.
And so then I was looking forward to seeing the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was there was a huge storm in New York. So we ended in Baltimore.
Oh, boy.
And I got out in Baltimore. I saw all these black people. I thought we were in Africa. Because I never... In New York, there was only one time, and there was not New York, in Sweden,
Yeah.
in Göteborg. There was a rumor that there was a boat, American boat with black people. I had never seen any. So we rushed, like all the kids rushed to the thing, to look at the black people.
To look at black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and then what happened was there were 3 guys at a desk. There was no real setup. 3 guys at a desk. I said, "What's your name?" My name, Jakub Garfran. Right. I wrote Jack.
Jack.
They said Jack, and I
Yeah.
said, "Okay, Jack." And then they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "New York, my uncle." "What's the address?" "Riverside Drive." "Riverside Drive?"
Riverside Drive.
Yeah. So, anyway, they said my uncle could. There was a man from Ohio there, and he said that my uncle couldn't come because of the snowstorm, so he was there for me and for the other 3 people as well, 4 people.
Yeah.
And so, and then he said, "Your uncle will meet you at 34th Street." This is a key point in my life which I didn't understand until about maybe 6-7 months ago. Okay, because what happened was I arrived when I was on the bus. By the way, I was a kid. I was 15. I ran to the back, window to see the town. When the driver started to yell at me, I didn't know what he was saying. But the guy from Higher said, no, you can't go there. That's black people only.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, wow, from Auschwitz to this?
To this, yeah.
I said, oh my God, what's going on here? Anyway, so I arrived at 34th Street Station. My uncle is there. He takes me to his apartment. Now, something I have not understood about my life. I have felt constantly here in the United States a kind of a wall, no matter what, a hollowness between me and the other people, and particularly I felt the Jews, who I felt should be close to me, but except for individuals,
right.
Generally speaking, I felt a distant, and I only understood that, but I said, because the French are doing a documentary on me.
Yeah.
And when I told them the story, they said, hey, could we go to that apartment, the first apartment where you came to? And I said, yes, I know where it is, but I don't know who's there.
Might not be there anymore.
So it was Yitzhak Perlman's apartment, and his son now had it.
Oh, really?
And when they asked him, he said, oh, I'd be delighted to see Jack Arvine. You know? So anyway, I went there, and I walked into the apartment, and it wasn't, the rooms were the same, but things were changed. And he said, well, where were you? I said, well, I slept on the couch. He said, you slept on the couch? I said, yeah, it was only for a couple of months. Then they put me into a rooming house. And he said, put you in a rooming house? I was 15, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that's... and I suddenly understood something amazing. And then I understood the photographs. I have pictures when I'm in Sweden. I look great, heroic, because in Sweden, I was a kid who went to the camps and survived.
Yeah.
I was invited to dinners, to this.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. I realized when I arrived here at the railroad station, my uncle hugged me. He didn't even kiss me, you know. And I felt, now I understood it. Now I understood. I was a refugee. See?
Yeah.
I wasn't the kid who did.
Okay, how did you get from this into the theater?
What?
How did you get from this point into the theater in New York? Because you were pretty young when you got into the theater in New York, right?
Well, this is what happened. As I told you once, the Kafka story that I did, where it says, the reason I did it because I found the epilogue, which said that human beings are horrible, but not individuals. Humanity is terrible, but individuals are great.
This is one of your favorite quotes. You
Yeah,
have said this to me time and time again,
Yeah.
and I, it's a valuable statement.
Yeah. Because here too,
Yeah.
what happened was there was a Jewish Child Care Association, and my uncle wanted to put me into a Hasidic yeshiva because they would pay the bill. I could sleep there, and at least I had the nerve to say, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah, right.
Right? And so the Jewish Child Care, I made some speeches for the United Jewish Appeal, and I refused to take money. I said, whatever you pay, give it to the people, to my friends in Europe, you know. And my uncle hated that.
Yeah.
Felt I should take the money.
Wait, let's get you into the theater. Let's find out how this happened.
Well, what happened was that is the Jewish Child Care Association said, I told them I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
Jack, they tried to talk to me, Jack, please. Okay, you can act, but you have to have a job. You have to go to a school where you can get a job so you can have work. I said, I know, but I want to be an actor. So they were amazing. So they said, okay, the summer came up in 46, right? And so they said, okay, you know what? We're going to send you to a summer camp with other kids. You put on a show, we'll come and see it, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. So I said, fine. So I sent me to a very nice camp. I learned how to play baseball. You saw I got the award.
Yeah.
And I put on a show. I acted and directed it with other people. And they came up to see it, the board. And after the show, they said, okay, we'll do whatever we can, Jack, to get you to go into the theater, right?
Yeah.
So they made an appointment for me with Mr. Strauss, who was the head of the Atomic Energy Commission.
Ah.
And I had a meeting with him in his office.
What does he have to do with theater?
What? Yeah.
What does he have to do with
Wall
theater?
Street, the office is half your apartment.
Yeah.
So he said to me, just talking to you, you're a very bright boy, but Jack, you have to have a job or a career, something you want to do aside from theater. You can do that on the side, but you have to go to a school and a place and concentrate. I said, no, Mr. Strauss, I want to be an actor. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. And I applied to the biggest dramatic school where Brando went and all the big Eli Wallach, big stars. And they said to me that I applied for a scholarship.
That was at the Actors Studio.
No.
Oh, no.
Dramatic workshop.
Oh, really? Okay.
Erwin Piscator was the head of it. And I applied, and I knew I had to pay $1,200 for the first part. It's like $12,000 today, you know. And I said to Mr. Strauss, if you could know that I had to pay that if I didn't get the scholarship, I would have to pay that money, but I will repay it eventually, you know. He said, Jack, it's a question of repayment. I'm just concerned about your future.
This is kind of like a father who says to his son, I know you want to be in the theater, but you've got to do something that will make you a living.
Exactly. Yeah. So finally he said, all right. He called the secretary and he said, give Mr. Garfine a check for $1,200, right? And I said, Mr. Strauss, I will repay it. Don't worry about repayment. Just do whatever you have to do. So I auditioned.
Mm-hmm.
And Piscator sees my audition. He didn't know my background about the camp.
Right.
I get the scholarship.
Wow.
And I'm the youngest for that year, you know. And so I went and gave the check back. And Mr. Strauss said, no, keep it. Put it in the bank. It's your money. Mr. Strauss, please help somebody else. Help some other kid in Europe who may need it too. I'm fine. And it's first year. And he even said, well, if you have a problem the second year, you come to me. I said, I hope I will not, but okay.
Right.
Thank you. And okay. So I got into the dramatic workshop. I was the youngest again. And Piscator was a great director and revolutionized the theater. And here, it didn't have anything to do with him. So
now you say that there were people who had gone through this school, like Eli Wallach and Marlon Brando. That was previous to you, right? You were saying Brando and Eli Wallach and actors like that had gone through that studio previous to you, before you did.
Yeah. Oh no, Eli was there.
Oh, he was there.
Brando, I only saw once, but
Yeah.
And anyway, so. And all the teachers, Herbert Berghoff, Stella Adler.
Oh, wow.
They were all teaching there. They were on the staff. Piscator organized it with a new school.
This was like going to the Harvard of drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so what happened was that I directed and I acted. And some of the people never forgave me. Like Rod Steiger, who was in my class, who every time I talked about when I was director, you stupid ass, you should have just stayed with acting. Your performance even in school was one of the best I've ever seen, and others did the same. But I had, every time I would go out professionally trying to get a job as an actor, my accent. I had an accent, so I couldn't do it,
Right.
And all my friends tried to say, fuck them, just keep going, But, so anyway, what happened was, at one point, Piscator did a fantastic production that he directed called The Burning Bush. It was the story about, the Hungarian aristocracy had the libel, the blood libel,
Right.
where they claimed that the Jews used Christian blood to bake their matzahs, and so there was a huge anti-Semitic thing, which of course finally, and they used a boy, a Hasidic boy, as a witness. So Piscator cast me and another boy in the part. We alternated, and it was a tremendous experience.
So where did you go from there? What was your next step?
What happened was that the next step. What happened was that, well, again, it's my theory, which I keep saying to you. Here was a German anti-Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Who gave me my future,
right?
My profession.
Right.
I'd go. That's what I mean. Individuals, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, what happened is, I did other shows there, and finally, there was an Israeli guy who was a director who was teaching at the YMHA in Brooklyn, and he had to go back to Israel. And he comes and he recommends me to direct the show, to take over.
Wow.
You know?
How old are you at this point?
At this point, I'm 17, 18.
Jeez.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I go, I get paid, I direct one show after another. Some very good people who saw it, they were all, because the people who they were not actors, they were, you know, just a club of.
Right.
And I got wonderful reviews and response and all that. And then an actor, Arthur Storch, who later became a director and actor, he got a job as an actor. I think it was the Levittown Playhouse.
Yeah.
And he came to me, asked me to direct the show. You know, I was 18.
Yeah.
He asked me to direct a show at Levittown. And so I was surprised. I thought, okay, here there were kids, or why? But what is this? No, Jack, you can do it. And it was John, I think John and Mary or something like that.
Yeah.
So I directed my first show.
Wow.
And
you're 18 years old.
Yeah. Then came the second year of the school. I didn't want to go and ask them for a scholarship again. But there was a guy in town called Joe Wallhandler. He later became a big press agent, handled Marilyn Monroe, Kazan. I introduced him, but he was a conscientious objector during the war. And he volunteered to go into Bergen-Belsen, where there was a typhus epidemic. You know, to show that he's doing something.
Right.
You know, taking a risk with his life.
Right.
So he was the manager of the Paris Theatre, which had just opened, and was showing Laurence Olivier Henry V. And I went to Joe, who I became close to, really, and I said, Joe, this is my situation. You know, I need to find $1,200.
Yeah.
So he came up with an idea. He went to the projectionist, told him the story, and Joe said, "Look, all the big shots of United Artists on the weekend, they're in their Long Island, they're in their homes in Fire Island. Nobody's here except you and I." And he said, "In the morning on Sunday, before we open for the matinee, why don't we have a showing of Henry V for a group of kids at school, and this boy can get his money to go his second year." So he went to the dramatic workshop, told them, "We have a screening for you Sunday morning. Your entire school can come, 300 students." They said, "Great." And they gave me the second year scholarship.
Okay.
When I met Laurence Olivier, who became a great fan because of my first film, and I told him the story, he said, "Well, Jack, another good reason for having done Henry V."
Why don't we stop at this point?
Yeah.
And we'll pick this up next time.
Yeah.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Okay, all right. Well, that didn't go very well, did it? At the end there. But anyway, here we are. What the hell? Yeah, that's Jack Garfein, and we'll have part 2 of our interview tomorrow night. I think if you stick with it, you're going to find it extremely interesting. I didn't know. I lost track of just how to do something as simple as that. Wow, I'm losing it, folks. Anyway. Where are we? Okay, so tomorrow night, and if you stick with this interview, I swear to you, especially in the 3rd episode, there's some real payoffs about famous people that he had to deal with, and the stories behind that. He was the last man to see James Dean alive. and he had a very close relationship to Marilyn Monroe. All that will be revealed as we go on with this interview. Now, let me just say to you, because I know some of you are, it's kind of a little hard to get through the interview to this extent. Let me explain it to you. That we have an old man here. He's quite old, and I'm trying to kind of debrief him about his life, and it is not easy. It is not easy, and to keep him on track is not easy either. And so to make this a really coherent interview, it takes everything that I've got. So I just wanted you to know that. And I wanted you to know that if you stick with this, you're going to find it very gratifying. Okay? And now, if you have the can't waits and you want to see how the interview turns out, I've had this thing posted on Roku for about 2 weeks now. You can go over to Roku, or you can go over and you can go either to Gabnet TV or to the Gabnet Roku channel, either channel. And both of them have the second part of this interview with him, plus a speech he gave at his birthday party. And the whole interview is there, the whole about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 25-minute interview is there. And you'll be able to check it out. You'll be able to see the whole thing before I even run it tomorrow night and the night afterwards. After we get through running it, I will put it up on YouTube and also on Facebook and everywhere else, so that you can see the whole interview. All right? So anyway, but for the time being, you'll have to check in tomorrow night to see part 2. I hope you find it gratifying. It's an odyssey of a man who has had a very long and interesting life. By the way, our lines are open. I should say that. There is a change in our Gabnet programming. As of tonight, there will be no more connections. They have had some changes and some problems, and they're not turning out as many programs as they used to. And for the time being, they're going to take a hiatus from Gabnet. So if you know anybody who wants to do a show at 1 o'clock in the morning, let me know. But we will connections will not be here any longer, at least for the immediate future. They're always welcome back. They've been really fine people to do business with, and I like them a lot, and I hope that they will come back at some point. But there have been changes in their lives too. So the programming will end with Jack at midnight. So just be aware of that. And any spots you may hear around here on this channel that make reference to connections, just blot them out of your mind till I fix them all. Anyway, isn't anybody going to call this morning or this evening? Oh boy, I am out of it. I am still reeling from being a nursemaid. It's been interesting. You know, as you know, I didn't tell you, I picked up girlfriend from the hospital. It's like picking up your pet from the vet, you know? And she came back, and she's still broken. I mean, she's recovering, but man, it's not like her leg she wasn't in dire pain. And I have been pretty much a nursemaid for the last couple of days. After watching all the stuff with hi there, Jeff. It's Jeff Stein, ladies and gentlemen. After watching all this stuff with George W. Bush, I'm beginning to feel like his service dog. You know, so get me a little thing I can wear and just say service dog on it. You know, I don't know what she would do if she didn't have me, or if she didn't have somebody, or for somebody who has nobody gets in this condition, because she has a very hard time getting out of bed, you know, and doing stuff. She's getting better every day. She's doing a little more, but it's not easy. It's not easy, you know, and on top of that, I've been taking these damn gabapentins, and they make me kind of loopy. So I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Anyway, I'm drinking coffee now, and that should wake me up. Then I'll have to take another gabapentin to put me to sleep tonight. So anyway, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good.
It was very nice. You called yesterday to see how she was doing, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, you know, we were concerned that if everything was going well, and I think it is at this point.
Well, you know, she had the operation, and she came home, and the next day morning, or maybe later that day, she was in horrible pain. Mm-hmm. And she said, "Why is the pain not going away?" And I said, "He just cut a big bloody swath into your knee, and then he put a couple of screws in there and some wire, and then closed it back up again. What do you expect?" And then today, her other leg has been in pain, because what's been happening is for the last week, she's been in bed. And undoubtedly, and she does have sciatica, and the sciatic nerve has probably been affected. And so now her other leg isn't working so well.
Well, plus she's using one leg to do all the work.
Yeah, she's using one leg to do all the work. Yeah. I mean, eventually she's going to be able to hobble around on that leg with the brace on it, which, by the way, is this, how can I describe it? It's like this science fiction apparatus with a dial on it and everything. I don't know what the dial is for. Maybe it's to get UHF or something. I don't know. You know, and the doctor doesn't want to see her until 10 days. I guess he doesn't want to hear her moaning and crying and weeping and
no complaints.
No complaints, right? He wants to probably see her when she says, things are better now, you know. But it takes time, you know.
We had a very interesting problem with Pam and her mother 2 days ago. Her mother's 88 years old.
88?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she lives close to us. You can walk there.
Yeah.
She has a little dementia stuff. But she's not feeling well. You know, well, she got a cold, a little fever, whatever. So, not quite sure. So Pam takes out the little device that we have to measure your heart. You know, to check your blood pressure.
Yeah.
And her blood pressure comes out all wacky.
Really?
Where it's real high and it's real low, and it's. But it was moving around from a very high place to what might be the normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she takes her to this local place where you can get a walk-in doctor, you know.
Yeah.
And it just happened to opened up recently. Yeah. So nobody's ever been in it.
Oh, is this one of these urgent care places?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're terrific, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes in, she talks to, was it the doctor or nurse?
The PA.
It was a PA.
Yeah.
And the PA happened to also work at Yale University, at the Yale New Haven Hospital. And her husband apparently is one of the doctors there or something. And they said, you know what, we don't have the right equipment here. Why don't you get in the car and go to New Haven to the ER and see what's going on right away. So,
well, ER and right away are two mutually exclusive terms.
Give us the magic words.
Well, you know, it's hard to get in these hospitals.
Yeah.
She told me
I'm going to give you some magic words. You have to say them, and you will get right in with your mom being 88.
Yeah.
Or she feels dizzy, or blood pressure's really high, and she's 88, and they'll put you right in because they don't want you to drop.
Right. Well, they don't want somebody.
We never even sat down in the waiting room.
They don't want somebody dropping dead in their ER.
Exactly.
You know, if they can get you out to the sidewalk, it's okay if you die there. You know.
Right.
I've had people in the ERs take me out to the sidewalk and say, honestly, you're not going to get in for about 5 hours. I'm not supposed to do this because it's bad for business, but go down the street. You're not going to get in here forever, and you're wasting your time.
Well, that's
here.
why I've suggested to people lately these urgent care facilities because
this one was fabulous.
Because you know, if you call your doctor and you say I'm not feeling well, they'll say we'll see you in 3 days, right? Well, you're sick now. And the urgent care people,
I think her doctor's an ass anyway, so I was already getting her a new doctor.
Yeah, well, when I get like a cold or something like that, or the flu, that's the first place I hit. I don't call my doctor anymore. I go to the the urgent care. It's I forget what it's called now.
But people who aren't on Medicare, you pay a fortune. Like if I go to I went to an urgent care for poison ivy. It cost me $110, even with my insurance.
Really?
Yeah, that was not a happy moment.
With me, I don't think I've ever paid a penny.
Right, because you guys are on Medicare.
You're Medicare,
I'm not on Medicare yet.
And the supplemental, between the two, it takes care of it.
I only pay $700 a month for my coverage, and $100 when I have poison ivy.
Right.
All right, you guys have fun.
Well, that's what you get for marrying a young woman, Jeff, who isn't on Medicare yet. You know.
But at least she can drive the car. At
yeah,
night.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Isn't anybody else going to call? Where's Phil? Where's everybody tonight? I guess, I don't know. I must have scared them away or something. But in case people aren't aware, I'll just say this so that people know. My wife was pushed and fell on the pavement and broke her knee. And on Friday, she had an operation. And she was there overnight. We heard here on the show from the doctor that she was okay and that they were bringing her out of the anesthetic and pick her up in the morning. You know, it's like the vet. And so that's where we left it off. And I picked her up. And, it's been several days of playing nursemaid. But what the hell? It's the way things go. You got to do it. You got to do what you got to do, I can't tell her. It's funny. I can't tell her get it yourself. It just doesn't come into the vernacular. Hello, how are you? Wait a minute. Here comes Renee Collins, adding Renee to the group here.
I didn't do that. Oops.
And where are we? I'm just so punchy. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Hello, Alex.
Yes, good to see you.
I need to take a minute before anything gets started and make an apology to you. And I talked a little bit about it on Jack's show, but I wanted to make sure that everybody heard it because in the chat we were having conversations about it. So, yes, I am terribly sorry for coming at you that way. You didn't ask for my assistance in any way, shape, or form. I was just trying to help, and it was my bad for doing so.
Well, it was just I've been rather stressed out about this. So my reaction to you was an overreaction probably on my part as well because all you were doing was trying to help. So, well,
okay. We both, somebody on the chat said, but our family's fighting. We should fix this.
Mom, Dad, quit fighting. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So I figured.
Yeah.
So, no, and it's the only other thing is that it's very tough to be a caregiver. Yeah. And if Nurse Diane would call in, she'd give you a whole bunch of really cool tips, too. Because they know shit that we don't know.
Well, the only shit that I know is that if she rings the little bell, I have to come. I have to, whatever she wants. I need more water. She's really playing this for all it's worth. I have to say that,
It's good.
And I told her, I said, listen, one good day, you're on your own, kid. You know.
Yeah, that recovery's not going to be 8 months. It'll be about 10.
Plus, I don't even get to sleep in the same room with her.
Well, her knee. I mean, the cast is what, from ankle to crotch?
It's ankle to thigh.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's a brace. It's not a cast. It's a brace. And it has a dial with numbers on it, so I guess you dial it down or whatever when the doctor can change the bend in it or whatever.
So it's for this and not for compression.
No, it's not for compression. It's for straightening the leg so it can't move.
Sleep in the same.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So, but nevertheless, the reason I can't sleep with her isn't because she's got that. She doesn't move, so I'd be fine. Are you there, Renee? What?
Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm sorry. I got lost,
and we just lost Jack. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm back.
My
little toggle.
What do you call it? Where was I going with this? See, that's this damn drug. I start forgetting stuff. No, I can't.
Pen that work, huh?
I can't sleep. Turn down your audio, Vernon. It's blasting. Yeah.
So is this?
Okay. Anyway, the reason.
What other side effect? Oh, sorry.
The reason I can't sleep in the same room with her is not because she's not moving. I mean, I'm not. She's lying on her back sleeping. That's all she can do. So that's not the problem. The problem is, that's my watch.
I was going to say, there's voices.
Yeah, it's this.
Hi, Mickey.
Yeah. Anyway, the point I was going to make is that she, it's that she gets up sometimes at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, which I don't do. All right. So she then wants to watch some TV to keep her company. So if I were in there, she couldn't do that. Normally she would just go to the other room. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And go to the other room and do it there, and watch TV there. But she can't do that because she can barely get out of bed. So I have to sleep in the other room. So I've been sleeping in the other room and tweaking my back out for like 4 nights now. But she's, I guess she'll get better. If she doesn't, we'll shoot her. But it hasn't been. It's not my natural inclination to be a nurse. Okay. I'm a terrible nurse, but I got to tell you, she is the world's worst patient. So that combination is really fun. It's almost a comedy of errors. But I just been really sweet and nice and yes, dear. What do you need? I need some more water. I need some more of my seltzer. Don't forget to put the stuff in it because she's got some kind of stuff that her doctor gives her as a laxative. I don't know. It goes in the water. So I put that in there, and then I bring that to her. Well, could you get me a root beer, too? Yeah, okay, dear.
If we buy you a French-made outfit, would you put it on and go in there one time?
Well, what I told her I was going to get her was a little bell. And I said, on top of it all, I said, why don't you just start referring to me like you would refer to a butler by my last name and just say, oh, Schwarzman. Would you get me my water, please? Things like that.
That has a good ring to it.
Yeah, it has a good ring to it. So will the bell. Who do we just lose? Oh, we lost Kevin.
Jack's having problems.
No, Kevin was having problems. Not
No,
Jack.
I'm here.
Jack was having
Kevin's
problems, but Kevin's there. And then who do we lose?
Jack came on and they disappeared.
Oh,
We've dropped Jack twice now, or Jack dropped us twice.
I guess I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay.
Yeah, no.
We're talking.
I went to my neurologist yesterday, and I told him this drug makes me rather loopy. And he said, does it make you feel better? I said, yeah. The thing that it does, here's why I'm still doing it. Okay. Otherwise, I just stop it and say I'll live with the foot numbness. The reason I'm doing it is because it's made me so nice that Marjorie just loves it. I mean, I don't think I could have gone through what we're going through now as easily as I have having this drug in me. So I'm just a sweetheart. I'm just absolutely the world's greatest nurse. Yes, Renee.
I need some of that. What the hell is it called?
It's called gabapentin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That stuff gave me a headache.
Huh?
Really?
Did it give you a headache?
It gave me a headache. Could you give me a soda, Alex?
Fuck you, Kevin.
And Jack's the one with the bell, so Jack will have to ring it for you.
Yeah, if he ever gets a clean line in here, you know.
So, Phil, I owe you an apology because I looked it up again.
Boy, you're apologizing to everybody today.
Whoa.
Well, I looked this up. So when you guys say things, I go back and look it up. Like, I know never to get into arm's distance of Phil.
What do you mean arm's distance of Phil? You're in Hawaii. You won't even get close.
Never get in an emotion where Phil can grab your body part. Because he's taken this close quarter contact classes and he refreshes on them. He could take a damn elephant down probably in 5 minutes. But so I went up to his website and I reviewed all that and it really looks good. But Phil is dangerous. So that's not why I'm apologizing, though. You're right. The AMT's back on the tax on his tax package, but you guys remember that we are not going to be deducting our donations anymore.
Really?
Unless you do it through an S corp.
Really? Why is that?
I'm an S corp.
He's an S corp.
Yeah.
So Phil needs to tell us exactly what he knows about an S corp, if you don't mind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack.
All right. You mind? Yeah. What happens is any profit or loss is funneled through your personal return. So let's say your business has a loss, then your personal return can be reduced by that amount. If your business has a gain, that personal return is responsible for that gain.
I see. In other words, what it does is you have a corporation, but the corporation doesn't really have the money. Your personal income has the money. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
No, I didn't know about that. You
know. No, that's new with Trump. This is a Trump thing.
The tax works on your personal
Huh?
tax rate, not on the.
Well, your personal tax rate could change depending on the amount of income that the business makes. You just got to make sure that you wind up fairly neutral or a loss at the end of the year.
Here comes the quick another books.
Yeah, we need to understand that.
Kevin, let's see a little more of your face. It's like right down at the bottom of your
Don't
picture.
get worried. Going through this is tape.
Oh, you see? Can you move your camera a little bit there, Kevin?
Yeah, I've been moving stuff around.
Huh?
Here. Let me...
Yeah, I know that these cameras are very hard to adjust. There you go. See? Yeah. Now we get now
moving stuff around in the room.
Now we get full Santa. You know.
Yeah. Not this year.
Alex, did they give Marjorie that machine that moves her knee yet?
May I tell you that I got a note from one of our listeners who is a physical therapist who says you don't use that on the knee at this point.
At this point?
At this point. No, she's not supposed to move the knee.
Yeah.
And even after that, he said it's not that much good. Oh. He said just regular physical therapy will take care of it.
I love physical therapists.
In fact, I'll tell you exactly what he said. And let me just get the info here. Let me see.
Yeah, it all depends on what happened with your knee.
Yeah. Let me see here.
By the way, PT stands for physical torture.
Physical torture.
Yeah, no kidding. Nice people, but I swear they know how to hurt you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. It was Mike Splatt. You remember Mike Splatt? It called or Spalt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Splatt. Mike Spalt. Sorry, Mike. He writes. I caught
Louisiana,
up,
a drummer.
I caught up on your shows. I do home health PT. If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know. And ignore the fools that kept telling you that she should have a machine to move her knee. I'm sure she has a knee immobilizer, and bending the knee is not allowed at this stage. I've helped many people with patella fractures, and it's not too bad a recovery. Most people are ready to bend their knee when the doctor allows. Okay.
Excellent. That's great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Could, I was probably talking about an MCL or an ACL or whatever.
My brother blew his ACL out. That was tough.
Yeah, boy, can't wait to hear about Kevin's surgery, because this is like, has it been done in the United States before? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah, I've heard of these things.
Yeah.
Having your heel replaced?
No. We're not talking about that.
I'm not doing that.
He's not doing that.
No, I was talking about Kevin. All right.
No, Kevin is not having that operation. He's having a implant put in that's supposed to kill the pain.
The pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
A Nevro device.
A Nevro device? It Nevro works.
It better work.
I mean, dealing with pain is a major deal. I mean, Marjorie goes to a pain doctor.
Management.
Yeah, that's
pain
who's
management
doing mine.
doctor.
Is my pain doctor.
Yeah. And he's very careful with the pills he gives her, and he keeps her, on schedule and makes sure she doesn't go over with the stuff or whatever. When she went into the hospital, they said, whatever they want to give you, let them give it to you there. But once you leave, don't let them prescribe anything for you, or have them call me, and I'll tell them what to prescribe.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're very rigid pain doctors, especially.
And that's one of the reasons they're doing this, is because all the laws are changing again in January, and she's, I'm trying to get off of what I've been taking. I've seriously knocked down what I've been taking, but I want to knock it down even more so, and this is supposed to help do that.
But yet, you know what happens? I got to tell you, these things are meant to do something very important. They're meant to kill pain. And this whole rush to judgment about OxyContin and all of these drugs is, I think, unfair to people who truly have pain, because now
that's exactly right.
Yeah, now
and I've fought that for the last year and a half.
Right. Well, here, you want me to give you a good example? Okay.
I'll give you a bunch of them.
The pain. I don't know if it was this pain doctor, but it was the last pain doctor she had. They gave her a blood test. And they found pot in her system, because, anytime you take a blood test on her, you will find pot in her system, I guarantee. She likes to come home at night and have a little toke off her joint, And they found pot in her blood test, and they said, well, we can't give you your painkiller.
Yep.
Unless you stop the marijuana. And she said, what? And it was because this is a rule the government has, that if he finds pot in your system. So she went to another doctor that didn't do blood tests and didn't want to find that out about her. And really, I got to tell you, there's no real cause and effect of drug addiction with marijuana and then OxyContin, or in her case, Dilaudid, right? But yet the government, who really doesn't know better, makes these stupid rules.
Well, that's how we got marijuana classified as a class 1 drug.
Well, yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
And that's what would happen to me, is I had a regular pain doctor that I went to for 4 or 5 years, and then he decided, when these laws, I don't know what went on, but he decided all of a sudden he was going out of practice and leaving the country. So I don't know what went on, but supposedly he got sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was left without a doctor, and so I went to my regular doctor, and he said, well, I can't issue that many pills. I'm going to have to send you over to another doctor. And I was without a doctor for 4 months, constantly going to another. I thought I was shopping, and they said, well, you can't do that. And I go, well, what am I supposed to do? This guy won't take me. This guy won't take me. This guy won't take me. So I finally got to my doctor who sent me to another doctor, and he started telling me, okay, I'll issue you, but it'll only be once a month. You have to come in. You have to take a drug test. But when I told him, you know, he said, maybe you should try marijuana. And I said, well, wait a minute. You know, and this is a doctor, a full...
By the way, hold on a second.
He said to me,
Vernon,
said,
hold on a second. Vernon, your microphone is rubbing against your shirt, and it's making a lot of noise. Yeah, okay. Anyway.
So anyway, he said, I said, well, if I test positive for THC and I'm taking an opioid, won't that kick me out? And he goes, oh, no, it's legal. And I go, wait a minute. That's exactly the opposite everybody else is telling me. And then you're telling me you're taking a drug test. That doesn't make sense. So I never did it, but I continued to, you know, go to him until I found this other doctor. And now she, you know, I have to take I randomly get tested by her all the time. I don't, you know, smoke nothing or anything.
Right.
But I told her, I said, I wanted to try the CBD. And she said, be very careful because some of it has THC in it. And you can use the CBD, but don't get anything with THC in it. And I said, okay. And that helps. But I got to be real careful because some of it has
CBD
trace
stands for
THC,
what?
And she'll cut me off.
What does CBD stand for?
Cannabis, but a bunch of. It's a part of cannabinoid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you know,
part of the plant. That's
but
not
all I'm saying is if you need things for pain, you need things for pain. You know,
and that's the problem is when they started all that craziness, they were just cutting doctors off and fining them. I mean, 5 doctors in town literally got their licenses taken away because they were quote unquote issuing too many.
Ugh. Yeah.
And literally got their licenses taken away.
Yeah. Phil's very quiet tonight. Is there a reason why you're quiet tonight?
Well, you know, with all this drug talk, I went from 2 bags a day to 3 to 4, and now I'm giving rich old dude head limousines just to be able to support my habit.
No, I see.
I'm gonna go shoot people because I'm psychotropic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've got pain, but I just live with it. I don't take anything.
Well,
or I go to sleep early.
The truth be known, in most cases, if people want the best bromide for pain, either an ibuprofen or an aspirin will do in a lot of cases. Not in Kevin's case, but in a lot of cases. But people want something a little heavier. They give me a painkiller. Well, you don't always have to give a painkiller, but I just think that we've gotten to the point where we've taken very valuable drugs that people need, like Kevin, like Marjorie does with her back, and we make them so difficult for doctors to prescribe. I mean, you got to go to a pain doctor who knows how to handle the system and get it done. But it's amazing. And it's amazing that they wanted to stop giving her the very thing that was relieving her pain because she was smoking marijuana.
I mean, that's kind of silly, really.
Very silly. It's not
they
so
make
much
you take
silly.
a drug test to take drugs.
It's not so much silly. It's cruel.
Well, I'm constantly telling her, find me something different. I don't care as long as it relieves what my problem is because, I'll still, I've cut down half of what they told me I needed. And then I still wake up in the middle of the night with my foot going crazy. I got to get up and walk around the house to get rid of the pain. I get up to walk around and walk around the house just to relieve the pain in the middle of the night.
Does it fall asleep or it just aches?
No, it just aches, I'm sure.
It aches, it stings. I get these shooter pains that feels like an ice pick's going through my, the arch of my foot.
Yeah.
And I can't go to sleep.
Well, I mean, I live with a woman who lives with pain all the time. I mean, her back situation.
She lives with you.
Actually, a few years ago, they were going to operate on her back, and she found that the painkillers kind of helped it enough that she didn't need to have it. And the doctors were happy she didn't need to have it because anytime you don't need to have surgery, that's good. That's a good thing. But it was only because of the painkillers.
Are the painkillers transitory, or do they stop working after a while?
No, hers continue to work. And she makes sure she takes as few as possible a day. You
had mentioned they gave her Dilaudid at the hospital, and it was a big dose, and she didn't feel anything. I'm just wondering if she's becoming desensitized to.
No, supposedly it still works for her, and we she's taking it now for this. But I think that the pain that she has right now is so strong that I don't know if any pill would take care of it. She just has to get through the pain. She has to get. I told her, I said, look, this guy took your knee, he sliced it open, he threw a couple of screws in the kneecap, he put some wire in there, he sewed it back up, and you don't think that's going to hurt for a couple of days?
Yeah, That's...
And you're hanging around me way too much. That's all I gotta say.
My wife says that all the time.
And then her other leg today started giving her a bad time, but it's because she's been in bed for a week. And as you say, Kevin, she's using that foot to take care of the other foot, and
she's favoring one side.
and that's what she's getting there. But I mean,
that's normal.
And then we call the doctor, right? This is so typical. You call the doctor and you say, she said, this other pain, I'm having just an unremitting pain, woke up in the middle of the night from pain in my other leg. And he said, well, I don't know what that could be. It could probably be sciatica. He said, but I'd only know if you came down here and I could see you. So if you can get down here. And she said, there's no way I'm getting down there. Haven't you just heard me?
Fucking leaving this house.
Another $100 handshake.
Believe me, getting her down there the other day just to get her looked at, so that, and then he says go over to Mount Sinai and get a pre-op physical, and we had to get her down there in great pain, get her out of the cabs by sliding her out somehow, get her up to the 8th floor of this building, have her see the doctor, go down, get in another cab, go to Mount Sinai, go to the 2nd floor. I mean, it was just, by the end of the day, I mean, that's the reason I didn't do a show here. I was so exhausted, it was ridiculous. And yet, so whatever happened to house calls? Like, oh, well, you got a broken leg. I think I better come out there because there's no way you're going to get here.
And they only work Monday to Friday now.
Huh?
The doctors now, everything is scheduled Monday to Friday.
Oh, wait a minute. Forget about Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Oh, they all take Wednesdays
Don't work Fridays
off.
anymore either.
No more Fridays?
Insurance?
Everything with my mother was always during the week to test.
Well, her doctor operates on Friday.
Will the insurance pay for an ambulance to take it to the doctor for that examination?
Not for the examination, no. Only for the emergency. When we took her to the emergency room, it'll take care of it. But, I'd have to get some kind of ambulette service to take her down there, and that's like $40-50, and we don't get the money back,
$40-50. I mean, you spend that on a movie.
Your insurance doesn't cover any of that, any of those rides?
I don't believe it does. I haven't checked, but I'm not about ready to experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John Rockwell said it took him a long time to get that service to come and pick him up.
Yeah.
So
get registered for.
Well, there are services they call ambulettes. Okay, that will drive you to some place, and it's like $30 fee plus like $4 a mile or something. I mean, but after to go downtown, it costs us about $40. I don't know. I mean, I think she's going to be fine. Just a matter of seeing this through until she's even working from home right now. She sat at the computer today and did some of her work at the office that she had to do in closing the books for the month. And so, her work can go on from here. But, she is still in great pain. I think she's in less pain than she thinks she is. It's just...
The second day is always the worst.
Well, the leg with the knee is okay now. It's the other one that's bothering her. It's not okay, but you know.
Funny.
I say, you know, I said, what is on a scale of 1 to 10? How much does it hurt? She's an 11.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Well, thank you.
I hate that 1 to 10 shit.
Yeah, you've got the spinal tap of leg problems, you know. But you know, it's an amazing thing we're going through here, and I see her walking around the house.
You know, the
she
doc
looks.
goes in there for a half hour.
I'm thinking if she were like this at Halloween, I would have her answer the door. Because she looks like a witch with her cane hunched over, crawling around. You know,
I'm melting.
Yeah. But
on a good note,
yeah,
and change it a little bit here, is that it would be really nice if people would wake up to the fact that healthcare is important, because her accident had nothing. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And if you did that to a whole bunch of other Americans, they would never have made it this far. They would have never gotten through this without their health care.
They probably would have tried to stay with the knee broken and see if it gets better. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like way too much
right,
pain.
Vernon?
Yep. That's exactly what would have happened.
Yeah.
Put a Band-Aid on it and take 2 aspirins.
Yeah.
Call me in the morning.
There you go.
Some people just put up with it, you know, but you know, we're lucky. I mean, we do have medical insurance, and it's I think kind of taken care of. It's amazing though. I get bills. I can't figure this one out. I got a bill the other day. She had a colonoscopy, and I got the bill. I mean, I got my health
breakdown.
My SAG-AFTRA sent me a breakdown of it, and the colonoscopy was $2,200. Medicare paid
It was on sale.
Medicare paid $131.
That's it.
And they have to accept it because
they forgave the rest of it.
Huh? They forgave the rest of it.
They forgave the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that really interesting. I mean,
well, that's your socialized medicine. So therefore,
no, that has nothing to do with socialized medicine.
Yeah, well, it's insurance. You know, Medicare is setting the rate, and these guys have to live with it and hope that they get some non-Medicare.
Well, they don't. Well, wait a minute. They don't have to accept it, Phil. They can just say we're not going to carry Medicare.
Well, the ones that do because they feel it's the right thing to do for the patient.
No, because I think they also feel that it's better to get that business than no business at all.
You don't think it cost them more than $131 to perform that procedure?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no doubt about it. And you want to ask me if I feel sorry for the hospital? Well, no, because it's the one where Joan Rivers died. But
did you go to that outpatient one?
It's not an outpatient one.
Well, yeah, the downtown.
I
remember you talking about it.
Yeah, that was the place. Yeah, so they only got $131 instead of, maybe they got another 30 or 40 from my insurance. I don't understand.
They pay Joan?
Joan would be proud.
I don't understand it though, because I don't understand. I think what happens is these companies use it as a write-off for their taxes. You know, the difference between what Medicare pays them and so on, they can take off as a loss.
Yeah, but you can't pay the rent with a loss.
Well, you can pay the rent with a loss if you've got other people that are paying full board on it. You know,
yeah,
and insurance companies are covering more of it. But I don't know what insurance companies are paying now. You know, what would an insurance company pay for it?
Yeah, so I was just looking at my daughter's heart thing that I got from Stanford.
Yeah.
That was $2,600.
Yeah.
They paid, it was
Who paid?
$1,900 in cardiology, $600 for the visit.
Yeah.
They paid, insurance paid $1,500. They wrote off $995, and I paid $20.
You paid $20. Now my question is, you don't have Medicare, right?
I have Medicare, but I believe this probably went under my wife's insurance.
Yeah. So that was your standard insurance, not
Probably,
Medicare.
yeah.
Okay. So.
But
So
I don't know if she may come under the Medicare.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but what
Doesn't
Phil
say
is
that.
saying there is that, you know, well, it's because it's Medicare and blah, 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 and it's socialized medicine. Believe me, the insurance companies don't pay much more than that. You know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rough life today for doctors. I got to say that. I hate to say I feel sorry for them, but I do.
Oh, it is.
I'm not sure it's the doctors so the doctors are taking the hit because of the insurance companies.
Yeah, they are.
Hmm?
So
Well, they should have become dermatologists or dentists.
No. The dough is in plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah,
because
okay.
it's all cash.
I think the dough is also. I think the dough is also in hospitals because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Medicare pays far more for a hospital stay, and far more of that than they do of hospital.
You know, my heart
doctor's
procedure,
visits and things like that.
my
Yeah.
heart, each of those heart procedures was around 50 grand. And
You had heart procedures?
A
yeah,
regular
the
person.
stents.
The stents in your heart. Oh,
Yeah,
in your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, the angioplasty.
And how much were they a piece?
They were around 50,000. I don't have the breakdown here
What, the
anymore.
stents were $50,000?
The operation, yeah. I paid. I paid zero, so that means you know. But it was socialized medicine because I'm going to Kaiser.
He loves that Kaiser.
Well, it wasn't exactly free because how much do you pay a month to Kaiser?
1,300.
Yeah, okay. So it wasn't exactly free. They've gotten their 50,000 already.
Yeah, that's a lot. He's on the gold plane. That's a lot, 13.
Yeah.
But
I
at
took
least
the
he has
platinum.
the option. He has a choice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Americans out there that don't have a choice for the heart stuff.
Yeah,
We're not talking like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but they, you know, I mean, people do that. Where the doctors and hospitals do that stuff, they don't leave people to, you know, to die if they go in and they say my heart is, you know, I can't
Who
breathe.
was telling us that they went to the hospital and ended up in the hallway for a long time? Alex, is that
Alex.
you and your kidney stones?
No, my kidney stones, it was amazing how fast they actually took care of me. I don't know if it was because it was a quiet day or because of maybe just the nature of what it was that they didn't want to just leave me out there, you know. Hello to Bree, by the way, from Dubai. Hello, Bree.
Greetings.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is that, you know, we this seems to be almost a constant discussion we have on this program about the nature of medicine and the nature of the cost of medicine, you know, and it's really sad, you know. I mean, and part of the problem of the insurance companies, I got to tell you, you know, we pay, or my wife's company pays, $500. It's gone up to $561 every quarter. Okay, which is not bad. It's about $2,200 a year that they pay for us to get our supplemental, which is much cheaper than if we were going through anybody else. And yet I thought about it when I looked at what they pay, for instance, on her colonoscopy, which was like $31. I'm thinking these guys are going to make a profit even off of us. You know, these insurance companies.
But this is the state of healthcare in the United States. Other countries don't live this way.
Well,
That's true. And they get along just fine.
Well, other countries have one single payer. We're one of the few countries that doesn't have single payer. The other country that does have single payer, believe it or not, doesn't have single payer, besides the United States, is China. And you would think China would have, you know, single payer. And
we're
they
at war
don't.
with them with the tariffs, too, both of us.
No, but what I'm saying is that you would think that as a communist country,
oh, yeah, you're right.
you know, medicine would be
because
free.
Cuba does.
Hmm?
Cuba does.
Oh, yeah, Cuba does. Absolutely.
How many
So why wouldn't they?
How many people in China aren't paying because they're working in the fields and things like that? It would bankrupt them to put a billion people.
I don't know. I'll tell you what they do. I'll tell you
healthcare.
what I've heard they do in China. They do teach, because there's a lack of there are a billion and a half people in China, if I remember correctly, maybe 1.2 billion. And there are a lot of people in China, and not enough doctors to go around. So what?
It's going to be like that here too.
No, so what the government does is they train people in villages and so on to take care of themselves medically. The small things that, the giving out of antibiotics if somebody is sick or whatever, they leave that up to the people in that community to be able to administer that. It's only the really serious stuff that you go to a major doctor for.
Do a lot of the countries that have single payer have the obesity rates that we do here?
No.
And therefore diabetes and other issues which are debilitating because of obesity?
I don't think so. You go to France, you don't see a lot of fat French men. No. You go to England, there are some fat guys there, but for the most part, they're on the skinnier side. We're maybe the most obese country in the world. I mean, we're a bunch of fat fucks here.
I think only 12% of the population in this country meet the guidelines for
BMI.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta take that in context. I mean, like for instance, am I obese? I don't know if yes, I was. I don't know if I'm still considered obese, though. I'm still 10 pounds over that, that sweet spot they talk about.
Yeah, I'm heavy. I'm considered morbidly obese.
Oh, well, I'm not morbidly obese. I'm just...
You were.
No, I don't think I was morbid. Was I?
Yeah.
Really?
Look it up.
Look it up. Yeah, and your BMI. See, your weight, your height, and what you were prior to the Atkins diet.
You eat more than 6 French fries.
Tony, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, you know what I was going to say with the insurance? Too bad they couldn't do it like you said a while back. Like, they should make it like, say we all need a colonoscopy at some point in regular checkups. They should make certain tests just free for the people.
Oh, yeah.
It's here if you want to use it without even insurance.
People don't want to know. They bury their head in the sand. But
getting
Tony's
people
not morbidly obese. He's just morbid.
Yeah, the problem is getting these people to go to doctors and to get regular checkups. I mean, look, I have to admit, I waited till I was 65 for my first colonoscopy.
Oh, you waited till 65?
Yeah, I mean, I should have gotten the first one at 50, like they recommend. But of course, I don't want to get something shoved up my ass.
They knock you out, right? You don't know nothing.
Oh, no, they shove it up your ass without putting you out. Yeah, what do you
I told my sister if I got to stay, she's
They
staying.
can.
What'd you say, Kevin?
They can do it.
Well,
they can do it without putting you out.
I'm afraid of doctors.
They can do it without putting you out. You know why they put people out? It's supposedly not that terribly painful. It's just that people would wiggle around a lot, and people would if they felt something slight, they would go, ow, and so on. So just put the fucker out and let's shove that thing up there, look around at our leisure, and come, get out,
I did that exact same thing.
Yes, Vernon.
Knock me out.
There's another reason they knock you out, and that is there is a danger of them perforating your colon. If you do wiggle around some, they could actually penetrate the wall, and then you would have a serious problem.
Oh, shit.
Right. So, all of this...
exactly, Tony.
Yeah. Shit.
So there's your answer,
Literally.
Tony. Well, your mother had a colonoscopy. They put her out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and she doesn't realize it for the test in Sloan when they take it out. She's got to have it again. We didn't tell her. Because they got to clean all the poop out so when they go in, they can see what they're looking at.
Oh, she didn't prepare?
We didn't tell her that. She's got to go.
Well, all I know is the proudest day of my life was when I went to my doctor and he was finished with the colonoscopy. And as I came out of the ether, he said, you were very clean inside.
Oh,
congratulations, you did a good job. And I thought, finally I've accomplished something in life here.
Did I tune into an old show?
Give me that.
Yeah, okay, all right.
This almost happens. I download this podcast.
Wait a minute, hold on a second.
And I'm usually eating lunch or dinner, and you start talking about this on the podcast, and I have to fast forward.
That's
the young punk
And
kid.
look, I mean, I have to go for my first one soon, eventually here, but I don't, I don't want to mess up anybody's lunch or dinner.
Well,
the good news is the procedure's actually nowhere near as bad as any of us make it. The bad news is the prep sucks.
Yeah, Renee, did you throw up from the prep? My mother was.
No.
I didn't
Nobody
throw
throws up from
I was given a game.
Nobody throws up from the
Really
prep.
good.
Nobody
It was
throws up.
salty, she said. We want me to do.
Nobody throws up from the prep only if it tastes bad to them.
Oh,
you know.
it tastes bad.
She said it was horrible.
Well, you know what
Well,
I use? I
it's
use
not disgusting.
is magnesium citrate, and it's just a
Yeah.
bottle of stuff. Tastes pretty good. And you just put it in a like ginger ale or whatever, and just down the damn thing, and then before you know it, you're looser than a goose. You know?
I did the prep on the air, Tony.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bree, that's what you're going to have to do. The
What did
prep
it
on
take?
the
What did
air.
it take, Renee? You timed me. It was an hour and a minute.
I'm
Wasn't
gonna
it?
cry there.
Yep.
No.
An hour and a minute.
I'd be young then.
I was
It's
out
just,
of here.
you know what? The procedure is a breeze. The damn prep is the worst. But
Okay.
once you do it, you don't have to do it for a while.
Yeah, the
That's what my
procedure.
brother says. But you're going
And once you've done the prep once, you know what's coming, so the next time it's not as bad. You know.
No.
I don't want to scare anybody off from getting colonoscopies.
If Phil
because
can do it,
Oh, can I get a virtual?
the
I've
virtuals.
never done a colonoscopy. I've
You
only
never
had a
did a colonoscopy?
I've had a sigmoidoscopy.
No, but that's not enough, Phil.
Yeah, and well, it felt enough to me.
No, that one they don't put you out for that. Or did they put you out
No.
for that? No.
Nah, I think they give you something to relax you, but that's about it.
Yeah, but you should get a full colonoscopy.
And then they have me poop on this on a stick and send it back to them.
No, they just had you
Yeah.
poop on
That's
this.
like
Yeah,
they do for the
but
dog
not
here.
not because
Okay,
not
now we
because
really-
not because they were going to test you. They just
Okay,
fetish
he's
us. That's
eating.
all. That's their
It's
little
not easy,
fetish.
but
Send me
today
some
I'm
poop on a
usually-
stick.
You really should go, Phil. You
Think
know?
of all the people on the podcast.
Wow.
Gotta give a warning.
Well, you know, the thing is,
This whole show
Bree,
is a warning.
The thing is, Bree, and the problem is, if I may say so, is that we forget because we do this at night that it's
Right.
always morning somewhere, right? And that people might be having breakfast while listening to us talking about poop. Now, we could do that, and people would then throw up all over their cereal, or we could talk about Trump, and people could throw up all over their cereal.
Hey, speaking of Trump, did you hear that Flynn was recommendation for Flynn's sentencing came down tonight?
Yeah, they said
know
give him
what?
time served or whatever.
No.
This is.
No, they actually issued the memorandum to the court on the recommendation for sentencing, and basically they said that he helped them out in a timely manner,
Right.
and that because of that, other people were cooperating with the investigation because of his timely coming forward. And he was involved in 3 different things, not just the Russians' interference in the election, but there were 2 other criminal investigations that have been redacted in the memo released to the public.
Yeah, and then they also supposedly recommended. Hold on a second, I think I might have it here.
0 to 6 months.
0 to 6 months. Yeah, 0 was the downside number.
Look what that did
Michael
to,
Flynn's
George
substantial
H.W. Bush.
assistant, Special Counsel Mueller, recommends no jail time for the former Trump advisor. That's what it says here. You know.
Just trying to get more guys
There we go.
to roll over.
There we go. From Dubai, he has that. There we go. See.
No, that came from Bernie.
So none of it will affect Trump at all. At all. 0.
What do you mean it won't affect Trump?
It's all these people are doing things underneath him. He doesn't have he's not aware of what everybody's doing all the time. That's first of all. Second of all, he's the president. He's the president.
But you don't understand. There's more.
And third of all, these guys are getting
I understand.
convicted of lying on the stand because they're saying this about one thing, and then there's some slight difference, and that's enough to prosecute them.
You mean, and Trump didn't say one thing on Twitter and turn around and say something else?
Twitter is not testimony. under
Oh,
oath.
yes, it is.
It's not,
oh,
but
yes,
it's
it is. It can be used
No,
as
it's
evidence against you because it is considered a record of what you have said.
He's
Yes,
the president.
absolutely. Doesn't matter.
It matters.
No,
Well,
He will not,
the president
he will
can't
not
be
face
prosecuted.
He can fire Mueller anytime he wants if he wanted to.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen to Trump is he's going to become an unindicted co-conspirator in the Trump Tower Moscow debacle.
Jesus Christ. You guys never give up, do you?
What will happen is around Christmas or New Year's, he will pardon people. And you'll be eating your Christmas turkey, and it'll be one of many stories because there'll be 5,000 other things going on, and it'll just end. That's how it ends.
I don't think it's going to be that easy. Don't think it's going to be that.
I don't think Cohn gets pardoned.
Hmm?
I don't think Cohn gets
No,
pardoned.
Cohn's not getting pardoned at all. You know,
He's going to have to take it. He's going to have to take it from Bubba.
although Mueller might suggest, as he did with Kelly, that because he gave substantial testimony, that he should be,
Kelly?
Reduced sentence.
Kelly, yeah.
No, Mike Flynn.
Mike Flynn, excuse me. Mike Flynn. Like Mike Flynn, they might give him do the same thing for him. We don't know, you know. But
I think his son had a big mouth and got him taken down.
Huh?
Kelly, not Kelly. Flynn's son had a pretty big mouth and did some things and got him taken down.
Yeah.
Anyway,
here's let me bring up something here.
Avenatti's not running anymore. I guess you're going to have to vote for someone else.
I guess so.
Flu shot.
Anyway, this is the thing that really got me today. I'm watching BBC News. Why? There's just something refreshing about watching BBC News. It's like all of a sudden, you know, the whole focus is different. It isn't that Trump is permeating their news or, what's the word I'm looking for? Saturating the news cycle. Dominating the news cycle.
You would love it here, Alex.
Yeah, well, here, wait a minute. Let me finish what I was saying about BBC. So I'm watching the news at the BBC, and they have a story. What's their big story? Anybody know what their big story was today? Now, the Brexit. It wasn't Brexit. That was their second story.
First big story.
The France riots.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
jackets.
that was in there. You know, that was in the mix. This was a story that I didn't see MSNBC, I didn't see CNN, I didn't see Fox or anybody else covering. That Iran
Trump's
wait a minute.
at the G20.
No. Iran fired a missile.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really? Now, why wasn't that on the news here? Why is all this other shit so important? And the fact that we're doing 24/7 coverage of a guy lying in a casket, that we can't take out a moment to say, hey, you know, Iran fired a missile. That to me is a major story.
It was a one missile salute for Bush.
The UN is meeting for that.
What? What did you say? What did you say?
I saw it as the Nikki Haley photo. The UN is meeting to discuss that. But I don't know the news source. It was just online.
Yeah,
the missile that they fired, was it fired at anybody?
No, they were
or was
testing.
It just
they were testing it.
Testing.
Yeah.
They have a stealth. They have a new stealth Navy ship in Iran that's supposedly going to give us trouble. Give the U.S. trouble. I don't know.
But
how many oars do they use?
But the point is that this is a fairly big story. Why didn't we hear it here? Why didn't one of these stupid news networks do something about it? Because they were too busy showing, you know, a casket, or they were too busy thumping on Trump or whatever for his latest, misdeeds. I mean, why don't we get some real fucking news, for crying out loud?
Because you said it before, Trump sells. That's why we're getting wall-to-wall coverage of Trump.
Well, I think that, you know, some news organizations should say we're in this for the money, but we're going to make our money by not being in it for the money. You know what I'm saying? In other words, we're not going to have money dictate how much effort we put into the news and what stories we cover.
We're also getting one-sided news, in Yemen. They don't talk about what the Iranians are doing. They only talk about what the Saudis are doing. And, it's almost as if they're trying to control the opinion.
Well, all I'm saying is this was an important story. Why didn't we hear it? Why wasn't it on the 6:30 news? It'll only take them 30 seconds. It would take 30 seconds away from the feel-good story at the end of the news that we could find out about this. Instead, we got to hear about little Bobby getting a Christmas present ahead of time because he's going to die or something.
It makes Americans feel better. You have to have that story.
Complete waste of time. Yes, Renee.
You know what I found is even more as interesting as the missile, because I didn't hear that one. Qatar, anyway you want to pronounce
it's pronounced Qatar. Isn't it Brie? Isn't it called Qatar? Isn't that the way it's pronounced? Yeah.
Okay. So they're withdrawing from OPEC. And about 2 months ago, I heard something that Saudi Arabia, China, and Russia and America want to withdraw from OPEC so that they can start the new OPEC for the new energy source like natural gas and everything.
Well, no, the reason why Qatar is leaving OPEC is because they want to concentrate on things other than oil.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, that was the reason they quit. And they feel that all OPEC cares about is oil. They want somebody that cares about natural gas, that cares about other sources of energy. And that's why they're pulling out of OPEC. So.
Well,
and
then also
natural gas.
What?
Pardon?
They're heavy into natural gas.
Yeah.
We're selling natural gas. It's one of our biggest exports at the moment, natural gas, because we started a new contract with somebody.
Yeah.
So, Phil, a non-political thing, sort of. Have you been watching what's been happening up in the most northern route with all of the Russians and the Norwegians trying to, now that the passageway has opened up, that they're going to be moving things through the northern part of the planet that way?
Is that due to, was it Crimea and the Black Sea?
Global warming or ice caps are melting, and then old sea routes.
Yeah. I guess the French are really supportive of the climate change as well. That's why they're rioting in the streets. I believe that there are cyclical things that are happening on this planet, but they're not all due to man. The garbage is due to man, and that's killing our reefs. And but the United States
is due to man.
Yeah, that's why I say that it's killing our reefs and our fish life. Even sharks. They're because they're finning them and so forth. But there's a lot of people that think one way or another on climate change. I believe the world is flat, and I'm going to continue to believe that. And if you walk to the edge, you'll fall off.
Well, I believe that if the world was flat, all of the cats would be around the edge knocking things off.
Mm. I looked for that article on my favorite website, Drudge, and I didn't find anything about the missile.
See?
And, you would think that...
All I know is that I heard this story about the missile, and that, in fact, I think some of the European nations or whatever were worried about this. Saudi Arabia was worried about it.
Of course.
I mean, it was a story. And I think it's a more important story than some kid's father coming home from the war and surprising him in school.
No. Did you miss the little boy that got snowballs? You're now able to actually throw snowballs in the town again?
Yeah, that was their last story on the news, which could have been replaced with, hey, did you know Iran shot a missile today? Instead, we had to hear about a kid who can now throw snowballs in his community.
Hey, did you see Bob Dole in front of the casket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they dig him up to be able to come to that funeral?
He's not in good shape.
No, he didn't look. He's next.
Well, he might be next. He didn't look.
And he should have, looking at him, he should have been first. I mean, really.
That's true. And I don't want George Bush #2 to get any ideas, because we're not going to go gaga over you, you little bastard. Your dad had quality.
Well, they're closing the post office tomorrow.
Well, but here's the deal. Here's the deal I don't get. I can't say I was ever a big fan of George Bush Sr. Okay? I didn't like him when he was president. I protested things that he was doing. I didn't like him. So am I supposed to like him now? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Because he's not as bad as me? No, because everybody who is talking about how good Bush was is saying it as a slam against Trump.
That's right.
It's all code for.
I mean, Trump has nothing to do with Bush.
No, but they said this was a time when we had presidents who were classy. I mean, things like that, and they
hated Reagan.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, he's looked upon as being a great. There'll be no mail delivery tomorrow. Yeah, I know.
I wanted to get my.
I want my fucking mail.
No stock market either.
Screw George Bush.
Yeah, thank you very much, Phil.
What?
Holy shit. I didn't take enough money out of the United States dollar. That's for goddamn sure. My God, if we keep in the red zone on all of my investments, I'm going to come out there and beat you, stupid Phil.
Do you know how much money this fucking asshole has cost me so far?
God.
Can I tell you the many thousands of dollars that I am out because of this son of a bitch?
You gamblers don't understand that there's no, if you don't want to lose any principal,
where do you
put it in a federally insured money market?
Yeah. And that'll
stick it under your mattress.
That'll get me.
Stick it under your mattress.
That'll get me 1%. That'll get me 1% a year. But what I'm saying,
you're taking a chance. There's ups and downs.
No,
I don't
we should
gamble.
Get the hell out of it. We should get our money out of the United States
But you know what? The same thing happened years. It happens all the time.
You know why the stock
market? And if you stay in it long enough, it'll come back.
The stock market went down 800 points today. You know why it went down?
Yeah, it went up 400 yesterday, though.
No. But all the gains we had last week, which is a good week, we've lost. Okay, in one day. In one day.
Shit happens.
In one day. Hold on. Forget about shit happens, Phil. I'm not talking about shit happens. Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying.
You lost money.
Let me finish what I'm saying here. It's not a fact.
No, it's not a little bit of money.
It's not a little bit of money, Phil. It's not a little bit.
I didn't say a little bit of money. I said you lost money, but when you lose, somebody else gains. Remember that.
No. The only person that gains is a stockbroker who, when you try to sell your stock, he makes money, and when you buy stock, he makes money. But when you lose money, he doesn't lose anything. Anyway, let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. The reason it went down today was because people suddenly woke up out of this drunken dream that they had out of Argentina, where the president said that, we made a great deal with China and everything, to find out he didn't make really any fucking deal with China.
It's just your news agencies reporting.
Wait a minute. No. What deal? What deal did he make with China, Phil?
Well, we were told.
No, wait a minute. We were lied to. We were lied to by Donald Trump.
You want the answer?
No, you take lies from Donald Trump like I take sips of water. Go ahead.
All right. At the summit, I believe that he had a meeting with President Xi.
Yeah.
They had a 90-day tariff suspension, sort of a cooling off period.
Or as I call it, the Trump
25%.
Or as I call it. Wait a minute. Or as I call it.
You want the answer? You want to talk over?
As I call it, the Trump cave-in. Go ahead.
All right. So there's going to be a 90-day suspension of the next set of tariffs. They're agreeing to talk about the what do you call it? The stolen information that they take from us and
intellectual property.
Intellectual property. and a number of other things.
Oh, no, here's how they described it. Do you want to hear how the Chinese described it? You want to hear how the Chinese described it? We agreed to look at 100.
I don't believe them.
No, we agreed to look at 100 different points. That's it. They just agreed to look at them.
Well, that's what they're telling you.
No, what's happening today is that everybody came away from this drunken stupor and suddenly realized what really happened in Argentina, and it wasn't the kind of thing that you feel great confidence in.
So you're not confident. You don't know what went on. All I know is, they had a discussion, and it's beginning additional discussions to deal with these problems, which are problems that haven't been dealt with in a generation. And it's time that somebody stood up to the Chinese and said, look, you're going to have to respect our intellectual property. You're going to have to respect our patents. You're going to have to stop dumping product in the United States. And, it's about time.
Okay.
Trump is a hero.
Okay.
And
your question is, Bill, how's he going to make him do it? How's he going to make him do it?
Yeah. Well, his plan
how's he going to make him do it?
His plan is the tariffs.
That's not going to make him do it.
The Chinese economy has cooled off greatly at the same time that these tariffs were implemented. You could say
no, it has nothing. It had nothing. It had nothing to do with the tariffs, Phil. It was cooling before that.
Well, it ain't helping it now.
But it's not that terrible either. They have other countries they can do business with without tariffs, like India, which is a much bigger country.
Economy in the world.
India is.
Yes. So
India
what are they doing? They're buying toilet paper.
Am I right? Wait a minute, Bree. Am I right? India is a big economy.
China has a much bigger economy than us.
Oh
yeah. But they need our dollars.
No.
They need our
what do you mean? What do you mean they need our dollars? We borrowed dollars from them.
They could do without the U.S., trust me.
We borrowed dollars from them, Phil.
China.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yes, wait a minute, Renee.
So the Iranian, let's see, they did launch a missile, and Bree is correct. The UN, some people with the UN want to meet it. I Googled it because I couldn't find it on Reuters and I couldn't find it on BBC. But when I Googled it, it said EU should sanction Iran over missile testing. And the United States warned them not to do it at 2 days beforehand, but they did it anyway. So this ought to be entertaining.
Yeah. So, I mean, why wasn't that on the news here?
I don't know. But you know
Fake
what?
news.
Well, then that includes Fox and your America One and whatever other Newsmax and all of it, because none of them reported it.
Fox is not news. It hasn't won one award in the news genre.
Except the highest ratings.
Well, and Hillary won by 3 million votes. What does that get you? I'm sorry, Bree?
We're back to the partisan press. You know, if you look back historically, that's, every media outlet is attached to some partisan issue or whatnot. And Fox News, Fox is essentially it is the PR wing of the White House.
It's fair and balanced.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they determined long ago that's what their market is. That's what their target audience is. So that's what they do. They, try to hide a little bit to say, I don't know why, because it's very clear that they are. Nixon, if he had Fox News, would have fulfilled his term.
Oh, yeah, absolutely agree with that. Yes.
That's a very good point you make, Bree.
You betcha.
Is that if Fox was around, Nixon would have remained through his full second term. Yeah, I think that's a good assumption to make.
And that's why Trump will survive this, in my opinion.
It could well be, but on the other hand, Fox's ratings are starting to decline. And it's starting to get spread out among the other news services. So it could well be that Fox is not going to have that bully power they once had.
Ailes was the driving force behind.
Well, he was a driving force, and he certainly knew what he was doing. Okay, in order to get ratings. Now, that doesn't mean in order to do good news. He just knew what to do to get ratings. You know?
Yeah.
And in that respect, Ailes was a genius. Okay, you heard it from me.
Yeah, Stone is. I'm dying to see what happens with Roger Stone. I'm just dying to see how this goes down.
Well, I think he's hilarious. I love him.
He's not a punk.
Did you see? Did you see the documentary on him? Get Me, Roger Stone.
Not yet. I'm waiting for a day that I'm stuck inside.
Oh, by the way, I have a TV show to recommend. We binge watched a TV show which was on BBC America, and I missed it when it first came on, and everybody told me to watch it, and I didn't watch it. And we binge watched it. It is maybe one of the best shows I've seen in years. Killing Eve.
I hear people love that.
It is amazing. It is the performances are amazing. The storyline is amazing. It's a great show. And there are only 8 episodes right now. If you have something like Hulu, you can watch it there. Yeah. There we go. Killing Eve. The 2 women in that show are just incredible. Just incredible.
Yeah, I liked Sandra Ho when she was in Arliss. She was really good. And she was funny, and she played this, the straight person really well.
Well, the other woman, Comer is her name. What's her name there?
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer. She plays a psycho. She plays the best psycho since Hannibal Lecter. Ooh. I mean, she's amazing. She is just amazing. Wait a minute. Is Jack going to have a show? Run an old show, he says. Okay. He's having problems.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. We'll catch him tomorrow.
Yeah, if he gets everything.
Jodie Comer.
Yeah, Jodie Comer.
I don't know who she is.
Well, she was in a show called The White Queen on Starz.
I didn't see that one either.
Oh, yeah, White. Yeah. I remember, but I didn't see
She played Elizabeth.
Sounds racist to me.
But she plays the best psycho I've ever seen on anywhere. Even better than Hannibal Lecter. I mean, she is just such a psycho, and yet she's a hired killer.
It's on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu. You can watch it there. It can also be.
Oh, speaking of Hulu.
Yeah.
I watch occasionally the clips from Sarah Silverman's show will come on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I like them. I don't know if you.
I don't know. The whole shows are not that good.
The clips.
Some of the clips it's not one of the things I go seeking out necessarily,
But here's one of the funny things. She did this skit she was playing basketball in order to determine what the one true religion was. And this clip made it onto YouTube, and I watched it, and I thought it was funny, and I went to show it to someone, and they took it had been taken down. Now, all her other clips are up, but that clip they took down.
That's interesting.
How about the one with the bloody head?
Yeah. No, that's not Kathy. Her. That was Kathy Griffin, who's a bitch anyway, so I don't give a shit.
Down, huh? We'll have to look that up.
Anyway,
this was on YouTube.
Anyway, I gotta go. We're gonna play a rerun of Jack's show because he can't get his equipment working. What else is new?
That sounds personal too much.
Tell him to take Viagra.
Yeah. So we'll take care of it from this side and get it on. Listen, everybody, I thank you so much for having joined us tonight. This has been a pleasure as usual, and we will do it again tomorrow. How about that? Let's all get back together again tomorrow night, okay?
It'll be Phil-free tomorrow. I got a banquet to go to.
Thank you, Vernon. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Tony. Everybody wave goodbye, okay? Bye-bye, one and all. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our group for tonight. And let me unceremoniously get rid of them here. And Jack Bishop will be a rerun tonight because, well, he's having problems getting his equipment working. It doesn't sound right, does it? Well, anyway. We'll play a rerun from last week, and we'll see you again, let's see here, tomorrow night. Another interview with Jack Garfine and another citizen panel. I'll see you then. In the meantime, right after Damian Chaplin tomorrow night, he's here at 9:30, and then tomorrow night at 10. I'll be here, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you happen to see her, tell her to hobble over here and tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.